My name is Kim Medeiros, and I have the Barn Pottery in Pocasset, 359 Barlow's Landing Road. And today I'm here at Ursuline, and I'm doing a little bit of sgraffito work on this upside-down vase right now. So I made this on the pottery wheel, and now it's at that leather hard stage. I did some stamping. Actually, turn it the right side up. And you can see I started doing these Cape Cod critter stamps. So I have some squid and some osprey on this piece. And I'm kind of doing some finishing touches as far as decorating today. So I'm doing my sgraffito work. And then a little bit later, I'll do some slip trailing work with these slip trail bottles. So with the slip trail bottle, I can use that to kind of squeeze out a design. And I do, oops, sometimes you have mess ups, that's okay. I always just use a little sponge to clean something like that up when it happens on a pot. But with this tool, it allows me to be able to do custom work. I do a lot of wedding plates, and I do handprint plates and then write the children's names on the pieces. Do wedding dates, locations, new names. But sgraffito was kind of my first love when I first started doing a lot of work as far as decorating on my pottery, and I always kind of go back to it, but with the use of the stamps, it makes the decorating go a lot more quickly. So I try to kind of really make the pots my own by using a variety of techniques. So this is some of my work that I have on display today, and it has a variety of the techniques that we talked about. So I have some that have a lot of stamping detail, and then I individually glaze each stamped impression. These are some of my sea critters that I've got going. I did some diatoms and bioflagellates, and I make ringing goblets, so you ring when you're empty. I also do a lot of Indian themed work. I raise awareness about human trafficking in the worldwide. So some of these images are from images that I went on a trip in 2006, and I met women in Calcutta and actually in a lot of places in India, and they're survivors of human trafficking, and we try to empower them. So you can check out madebysurvivors.com if you'd like to find out more about that organization that I worked with. I also do mother and child vases, and I kind of celebrate motherhood and just women in general. All of my work is functional, and you can use it in the dishwasher. I like to try to make them really different, and a little bird series. I kind of go on tangents, and right now it's the Cape Cod critter scene, so there's, you know, the scallops and the squid, osprey, piping plover, brook trout.
Very well, thanks. How are you?
My name is Paula Sangli. I have Hatchville Pottery in Hatchville off of Route 151 on Boxbury Hill Road. And I make functional work. I make pots that are for soup or for coffee or for tea or displaying flowers or fruit or anything like that. And I use a stoneware clay, and I fire up to temperatures of about 2,400 degrees. And I glaze often with ash glazes. Glazes that are made in part with wood ash. You can see, I don't know if you can see the green glass-like surface on the inside there. That's the result of wood ash that was in the glaze, and it makes a very glassy surface. And I also use a lot of Japanese-derived glazes. This is what's called a Chino glaze, and this is not unique to me. I mean, a lot of potters use a similar kind of thing. It's a high feldspar glaze. This one is designed to trap carbon, so that when there's smoke in my gas-fired kiln, that smoke gets trapped in the glaze and makes this crackled surface and these black spots here, and it just stays inside the glaze. That's called a carbon trap Chino glaze. A lot of these pots here are made, they're opened up, they're cut first when it's just a piece of clay on the wheel, and then they're opened up after they're cut, so that the facets that I cut into the clay torque to one side, and they create unusual surfaces, and they also throw the pot off of round. So a lot of these pots, you look at them, they're not perfectly circular, and that's why. And I like that. It's not a defect. That's something I'm looking for. This is a similar kind of one. This had 3 facets cut in it, so that when you throw it, after it's got the facets cut in it, it opens up in sort of a wonky fashion. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And then Kim Medeiros and I, who's also in the Mazer Gallery show next week, have been working together on pots for not quite a year. And I will often throw pots. Yesterday she was here at Arts Alive working on some cups that I had done. But this was a larger piece, maybe 3 pounds of clay, and I threw the basic form, and then while it was still wet and malleable, I took this over to Kim's studio, and she altered the surface. She carved the Buddha in here, she added this frame to the Buddha, and then she slip trailed these dots and these designs up here, and also cut her own distinctive style of foot on the bottom of it. And we've been having, I don't know that we've sold a lot, we've sold some of them, but we've had good success just personally between the two of us working together on pots like this. She tends to do the decoration. I often glaze the pots. I'm looking at Kim across the way here, listening to me explain this. And some of these pots are small ones that she has thrown and then decorated, and I have glazed. My glaze is in my kiln. Our kilns are both gas-fired, but mine reacts somewhat differently, or the glazes react somewhat differently in mine than they do in hers. This happens to be a pot full of Buddhas. Buddha plays a role in some of the decoration and some parts of our lives, I guess.
I'm Vicky Cullen. I've been doing beadwork for about 6 years now, and it's a follow-on to fiber art that I've done most of my life. I've had a sewing machine since I was about 11 or 12, and I've done a lot of sewing, and I did weaving for a number of years, and then when I had kids, that got to be a problem. And I've now retired from a long career at the Oceanographic Institution. And so I wanted to take up some artwork again, and I was planning to have the beads be an adjunct to quilting that I intended to do. And the beads sort of took over. And so I've been working with beads, as I said, for about 6 years. And what I like is combining the textures and colors. And I've recently been doing that not in symmetrical pieces, but in things that are a variety of different textures and colors and shapes and sizes. So that, and I still occasionally do symmetrical pieces, but what I really like is laying out the beads and seeing how they can fit themselves together. And that's the fun of it for me. I have a small production. I do a couple of tiny shows a year. I'm usually at the Artist Guild Christmas Boutique, and then this is the second time I've been at FCTV. So that's pretty much the story of what I do with beads. Well, this is probably a good example of the various kinds of things. I've got a long thin piece and then a couple of small round ones. This is in very subtle grays and silver, and a little bit of black as an accent, and then I've found these fishes that I really like, and I just got some bigger ones that I'm going to give a try. And this one is similar. It's almost all little small silver beads, just a variety of things, and you lay them out and see how they go together. And if that arrangement doesn't work, then it's easy enough to change them up. And then I have African beads. Occasionally one can find interesting hand-done odd shapes, sometimes hard to put together because they're not symmetrical. So you have to find something that'll fit into the hole and then make some kind of reasonable presentation so they're not completely all over the place. But those are something that I like to do. The one that I'm wearing, I think this ended up being a symmetrical piece, but again, it's just fitting the different kinds of colors and things that blend. And there's a little bit of pearl in this. Someone gave me some beads they'd collected in Turkey some time ago, so some of those are in this. I don't know that much about the history of beads, but I recently discovered that the Corning Museum in New York is going to have a history of beads show called Life on a String, and they're going to have a 2-day seminar that I've just signed up for. So I'm hoping to bring more knowledge about the history of beads to the work that I'm doing. Yes, I make earrings. This goes with the one that had the fish in it. No, yes, right. And I was just picking up some of the textures and colors from the piece. I almost always make earrings to match necklaces that I make, but often the earrings sell by themselves because I don't sell them only as socks. So sometimes in a show I end up making 2 or 3 different sets of earrings because they're less expensive and more likely to be sold. So that's part of the fun. And then this is a pendant that I bought at a show somewhere. Someone was selling these pieces that they had made, and then it's just put on a simple string with a few beads that complement it, and that makes a nice little necklace as well. I work mostly in this kind of length, and it's about 16 inches, which doesn't fit everyone. So sometimes you can put a little chain on it so that it gives some expandability to the necklace. But 16 to 19 inches will be a close fit on most people. And then the other lengths that I go, 25 inches is about as long as I ever go on as far as length is concerned on the pieces. I don't do bracelets because I don't wear them. So I have basically all necklaces and earrings.
Hi, my name is Granya, and I have some jewelry here over at the Mesa Gallery. And they're basically more trinket type jewelry, very simple. A lot of it is recyclable or just basically jewelry that I had prior, and then I just broke it down and just kind of made it new again. I have some, wooden string necklace that I just broke down and just pretty much just strung it. And my whole goal really is, way back when I used to be a costume maker for Broadway in New York City, and also in Madrid and also in the Boston area, and I've always really wanted to make clothing. So this is kind of my way to kind of push me in that direction. So I'm just doing it step by step. But there's just like fun little necklaces. They're summer necklaces basically, to wear the beach. You go swimming with them and add a shell or something like that and make it your own. And that's pretty much it right now. So, oh, and also I call it Coalestis. I might actually change. It's supposed to be my brand. And the whole idea about that is supposed to be, if you Google Coalestis, there's in Michigan they have a lot of books about it, and also in Italy. And basically, it was this beautiful, beautiful book. There are a few people that actually participate in making this book, but it's basically about about the stars, basically. So it's the GPS for sailors, And the whole idea about it is it's supposed to be the fusion of art, science, and myth. And I always really liked that concept when it comes to being creative or being artistic. So you have the art side, and then you have the science, which is supposed to be the actual technique and skill that you use. And then the myth is kind of the mystery or whatever product that you actually get when you create your creation. So hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Elaine, Sinni, and this is some of my jewelry from A Stitch in Time. I started beading probably 3 or 4 years ago. It's kind of a hobby that came out of my love for sewing, which I've done since I was about 10. But I'll show you some of my pieces here. Something like that is a peyote stitch, where you stitch the band first, and then the florals are just different colored satin and chiffon, interspersed with some beading and a few leaves and pearls and what have you. Most of it takes several hours to do. And what I prefer to do is bead embroidery, but that takes forever to do. But I kind of start from a pattern and then kind of go from there, but I get my inspiration from a lot of things that I see and pick up along the way. I like to incorporate stones whenever I can. I don't have any in this particular display, but if I can find an unusual focal piece, then I like to put that in the middle and then just kind of embellish around it. I was looking for something a little bit unusual, and my daughter happens to have an extensive shoe collection, so we thought that would be a little bit different to display them on the shoes. But we tried to keep kind of a romantic theme with the wine glasses and the fancy shoes. But a lot of the jewelry I have, I do for weddings. Like this particular one I've done to pick up the pieces in the bridesmaid dresses. You know, if somebody wanted to have pieces that match the colors in the wedding. I have a couple of different kinds of earrings here. These are called, I don't know if you can see these. These are netted earrings. You start with a basic four pearls, and then just going to add onto that, and then the netting goes over the top of them. And then these are with the Swarovski crystals on them, and these are called super duo beads. They've got 2 holes in them, so it takes, there's not a lot of patterns that you're able to incorporate the super duo beads in. This is kind of interesting. This is a takeoff on these, but it's a pin. You can wear as a brooch or put on your purse or whatever. And these are just kind of plain pearl earrings. Just I wanted something kind of plain to go with the necklace. And these were one of the things that I started with. These I thought they were kind of cool. They have alternating colors and little flowers on them, but these are all Swarovski crystals and pearls in the middle. got a few necklaces that are kind of a netted pattern.